Ever wonder how we got from like cave paintings to sharing pics on our phones? Today, we're diving deep into the history of photography. And spoiler alert, it's way older than you might think.
Oh, yeah, we're talking way before film, before cameras as we know them. We're going all the way back to the ancients.
Ancients.
Oh.
Like togas and gladiators, ancient. Okay, you have my attention.
Picture this. It's ancient Greece. You're hanging out with Aristotle brainy guy,
That's
right?
Philosophy 101, know thyself and all that.
Exactly. But Aristotle was into more than just deep thoughts. He was fascinated by this phenomenon, this darkened room where a tiny pinhole of light would project an upside-down image of the outside world. They called it the camera obscura.
A camera, hold up, are we talking pinhole cameras here?
Kinda. It's the same basic concept, just, ancient Greek edition. No selfies back then, sadly.
Too bad. So what did they do with this camera obscura thing?
At first, it was mostly about understanding light and how we see. But get this. By the 11th century, an Arab scholar named Ibn al-Haytham was writing detailed descriptions of how the camera obscura worked, even laying out the science behind it.
So they went from, whoa, cool trick, to actually figuring out the mechanics of it. That's pretty impressive.
Totally. And it wasn't just scientists geeking out. Artists got in on the action, too. Imagine being Leonardo da Vinci, right?
A Mona Lisa guy? Okay, now we're talking art history all-stars.
The one and only. He actually used the camera obscura as a tool to help him understand perspective and light in his paintings. Pretty clever, huh?
So even back then, they were using light to capture and recreate the world around them. Makes you wonder, when did they start trying to make those images permanent?
That's the million-dollar question, and that's where our story gets really interesting.
So they had this light-based image thing down, but making it last. That's the real challenge, right?
You got it. And that's where Thomas Wedgwood enters the picture. Early 1800s, this guy was obsessed with capturing those fleeting camera images. We're talking hours in the lab, experimenting with paper and leather, treating them with, get this, silver nitrate.
Silver nitrate. Sounds like something out of a spooky old movie.
Right. It's this chemical that darkens when exposed to light. So Wedgwood was basically using light to create his images.
Clever. Did he manage to make those images stick around?
He got so close, like tantalizingly close. He could create these kind of eerie black and white pictures.
Oh, so he actually did it. He made photographs.
Yeah, but...
Uh-oh, there's always a but, isn't there?
Sadly, yeah. The images would fade, like disappear over time. All that work, poof, gone.
Oh, man. Talk about a letdown. Can't imagine getting that close and then...
Yeah.
So who finally cracked the code? Who managed to make those images permanent?
Enter Nicephore Niepce, our hero of the hour. This French inventor, he wouldn't give up. And by the 1820s, he developed this process he called heliography.
Heliography. Sounds intense.
It was. It basically used the sun to create a permanent image, his first one, a view from his window.
No way, like the OG landscape shot.
Pretty much. Only took, about 8 hours of exposure time.
8 hours. My phone would die like 5 times over in that time. This guy was dedicated.
No kidding. But here's the thing. His process, it was revolutionary. Niepce used this special asphalt that hardened when light hit it. So after the exposure, he'd wash away the unhardened stuff, and voila, a permanent image remained.
Mind blown. We went from Aristotle's dark room to capturing actual sunlight. That's a game changer.
Totally. But you know how it is with innovation. There's always another chapter.
Oh, there's got to be more. Spill it.
Okay, so Niepce's thing, it was a huge leap, but still kind of limited. The images, not always super clear. And 8 hours, not exactly practical. That's where our next photography rock star, Louis Daguerre, comes in.
Wait, Daguerre, as in daguerreotype.
Ding, 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 we have a winner. This guy took Niepce's work and ran with it. In 1838, boom, the daguerreotype hits the scene.
Those old-timey photos, all sharp and detailed. They always feel a little mysterious, you know?
Totally. And they were a sensation back then. Daguerre's process, it was still all about light and chemistry, but faster exposures and way more detail.
Okay, so this is it, right? The birth of photography as we know it.
Pretty much. And from there, things really took off.
Man, who knew there was so much history packed into every picture we take?
Right. And we owe it all to those early pioneers, those obsessed with light and capturing the world around them.
From ancient Greece to 19th century France, who knew the story of photography had so many twists and turns.
It's amazing, isn't it? And it makes you appreciate how much work, how much sheer determination went into getting us from a darkened room to, well, to Instagram.
Seriously, imagine explaining to Aristotle that one day people will be using tiny handheld devices to capture, like, 1 million images a second.
He'd probably think we were making it up. But think about it. All those innovations, all those experiments, they weren't just about the technology.
What do you mean?
It was about capturing a moment in time, making something that would last, that you could share with others. And that's something that connects us to those early photography pioneers, whether it's Wedgwood with his fading images or Niepce out there for 8 hours trying to capture a single beam of sunlight.
They were driven by this desire to make their mark on the world, to, I don't know, freeze time in a way.
Exactly. And when daguerreotype hit the scene, it wasn't just a technological leap, it was a cultural one. People were captivated by those images, that level of detail. It changed how people saw the world.
And paved the way for everything that came after. Photojournalism, family portraits, even like you said, Instagram. It all goes back to those early experiments, those first blurry images.
It's incredible, really, how far we've come. But who's to say where photography goes from here? What's the next chapter?
That's what I love about this stuff. There's always something new on the horizon. Imagine maybe someday we'll be able to capture not just images, but emotions, memories.
Now that would be something.
Well, folks, there you have it. From shadow puppets to selfies, it's been quite a journey exploring the history of photography. Hopefully next time you snap a pic, you'll think of Aristotle, Wedgwood, Niepce, Daguerre, the original photography influencers. And who knows, maybe you'll be inspired to capture your own piece of history.
Capture it, share it. Who knows how it might inspire the next generation of photography pioneers.
That's all the time we have for today, but join us next time when we uncover more hidden histories. Until then, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and most importantly, keep snapping those pics.